Week 3, the scientific process and the life cycle of scientific information. Science shapes our world, from the medicines we take to the technology we use. Today, we'll break down the scientific process and how information moves through the research life cycle. At its core, science is evidence-based and objective. It follows a structured method to ensure that knowledge is reliable and can be tested. The scientific process is built on 7 key steps. Step 1, ask a question. Every scientific discovery begins with curiosity. Scientists start by identifying a problem or phenomenon they want to understand. Step 2, research the topic. Before forming a hypothesis, scientists review existing studies and data to understand what is already known. Step 3, formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is an educated guess that can be tested. It must be falsifiable, meaning it can be proven wrong if new evidence contradicts it. Step 4, perform the experiment. This is where testing happens. Scientists conduct controlled experiments to collect measurable data. Step 5, analyze the data. Once results are gathered, they must be carefully examined to determine if they support or contradict the hypothesis. Step 6, accept or redevelop the hypothesis. If the hypothesis is supported, it may become part of accepted knowledge. If not, it must be revised or discarded based on the data. Step 7, share results. The final step is critical. Scientists must publish and share their findings so others can test, verify, and build upon them. By following these steps, scientists minimize bias and ensure that conclusions are based on observable, measurable, and reproducible results. How do we know scientific findings are credible? This is where peer review comes in. Before a study is published in a reputable scientific journal, it undergoes a rigorous peer review process. Here's how it works. A scientist submits their research to a journal. The journal editor sends the paper to experts in the field for review. These reviewers check the study for accuracy, originality, and reliability. The reviewers then recommend acceptance, revision, or rejection of the study. If accepted, the research becomes part of the scholarly record, available for other scientists to critique and expand upon. This process ensures that only high-quality, well-supported research enters the scientific community, protecting against misinformation and weak conclusions. Once scientific knowledge is created, how does it reach the public? Scientific information moves through different stages in the science information life cycle. Primary research, this is the first step. Scientists publish their findings in peer-reviewed journals. Secondary sources. Media outlets, textbooks, and science communicators translate this research into more accessible formats. Public dissemination. Information spreads through news articles, blogs, social media, and word of mouth. However, this is where misinformation can emerge. Fact-checking and reassessment. As new studies are conducted, old findings are tested and refined. This is a key part of scientific progress. Understanding this life cycle helps us become better consumers of information, so we can distinguish between rigorous science and misleading claims. As a student, you have access to the Rutgers Library Catalog. It contains scholarly journals and books you can use for free through the Rutgers Library system. Make use of these resources to ensure that the information you rely on is credible, tested, and reviewed. The next time you hear a bold scientific claim, ask yourself, has this been peer-reviewed? Has it been tested and replicated? Where is it in the scientific life cycle? Science is a process, not a fixed set of facts. Knowledge evolves as new evidence emerges. Remember, scientific credibility comes from objectivity, rigorous testing, and peer review. The scientific method minimizes bias, but knowing that bias exists helps us recognize and challenge it when we see it. As the documentary Merchants of Doubt and our social annotation reading this week demonstrates, the public's limited understanding of the scientific process and the peer review system is used as a strategic weapon by lobbying groups to create doubt. One of our best defenses against misinformation is to understand the scientific process. Not everyone who claims to be an expert is. Now that you know what to look for, consider whether or not a claim is true based on empirical evidence. Knowledge is power. For a closer look at this week's topic, see the handout and links in Canvas. Thanks for listening.